The mansion loomed, dark and imposing. Aboud, standing before the iron gates, felt a shiver. The wind howled like a banshee. Rain lashed down, soaking him to the bone. He clutched the lawyer's note, his inheritance, a place of shadows and secrets.
Here goes nothing.
He pushed open the creaking gates. Each step on the gravel path felt heavy, significant. He finally reached the imposing oak door. Taking a deep breath, Aboud knocked. The sound echoed through the silence. He was ready, or so he thought. The old housekeeper, Mrs. Willow, showed him around. Her eyes darted nervously, as if she was expecting something to jump out from the shadows at any moment. The dim lighting of the mansion only added to the eerie atmosphere, casting long, unsettling shadows on the walls. Whispers followed them through dusty corridors and empty rooms. It was as if the house itself was alive, breathing softly, whispering secrets from a bygone era. Aboud couldn't shake the feeling that they were not alone, that unseen eyes were watching their every move. Each room was filled with antique furniture covered in white sheets, like ghosts. The furniture seemed to loom out of the darkness, their shapes distorted by the sheets, giving them an almost spectral appearance. It was as if the house was frozen in time, waiting for something or someone to bring it back to life.
This place. It feels like it's stuck in time. Aboud's voice echoed softly in the vast, empty space, the sound swallowed by the thick, oppressive silence that seemed to hang in the air like a heavy fog.
One night, alone. Only then will the inheritance be yours. The lawyer's words were firm, leaving no room for negotiation. It was a test, a final challenge that Aboud had to face if he wanted to claim his legacy.
Aboud tried to shake off the unease. He had to stay. The weight of his family's legacy rested on his shoulders and he couldn't afford to fail. But the mansion's oppressive atmosphere made it difficult to keep his resolve. The lawyer was clear. One night, alone. Only then would the inheritance be his legacy. The words echoed in Aboud's mind, a constant reminder of what was at stake. He had to prove himself worthy, to show that he had the strength and courage to face whatever the night might bring. He just hadn't expected it to feel so much like a horror movie. The creaking floorboards, the flickering lights, the cold drafts that seemed to come from nowhere, it was all too much. Aboud's heart raced as he moved through the dark, creepy house, every sound amplified by his growing fear. He clutched his flashlight tightly, its beam cutting through the darkness, but offering little comfort. The mansion seemed to close in around him, its walls pressing in, suffocating him with their weight. He had to keep moving, had to find a way to make it through the night. The inheritance was within his grasp, but the price he had to pay was steep. As the hours dragged on, Aboud's unease grew, the shadows lengthening, the whispers growing louder. He could feel the presence of the past, the weight of history bearing down on him, but he couldn't give up. He had to stay, for his family, for his legacy, for himself. He woke with a start, a crash. Someone was in the house. He grabbed the poker from beside the fireplace. His heart hammered in his chest. Adrenaline surged. The lawyer hadn't mentioned danger.
Who's there?
He crept down the hallway. Floorboards creaked. Shadows danced on the wall. He held his breath, listening for any sound. Then he saw it. A figure, dressed in black, trying to pry open a locked door. Aboud knew he had to act, fast. He charged with all his might, adrenaline coursing through his veins. The room was dimly lit, shadows dancing on the walls as he moved. The poker connected with a resounding thud echoing through the silent house. The figure crumpled to the ground, lifeless and still. Aboud stood over him, panting heavily, his breath visible in the cold air. The intruder lay unconscious at his feet. But who was this mysterious figure? And why had he broken into this old, decrepit house? What secrets did he hold? Aboud's mind raced with questions. This was supposed to be a simple inheritance, a straightforward transfer of property. But it had turned into something far more sinister.
Who are you? Why are you here? Aboud's voice trembled with a mix of fear and anger as he demanded answers from the unconscious intruder.
He quickly tied the intruder's hands and feet with a piece of rope he found nearby, ensuring the man wouldn't escape when he regained consciousness. Aboud sat down, his mind a whirlwind of thoughts. He had so many questions, but no answers in sight. Frustration gnawed at him. The answers wouldn't come easy, and he knew it. He needed to search the house, to find clues that might shed light on this mystery. The truth was hidden somewhere within these walls. But first, he had to deal with the intruder. He couldn't leave him unattended.
All right, let's see what you're hiding. Aboud muttered to himself as he began to search the room, hoping to find something that would explain the intruder's presence. As he rummaged through the old furniture and dusty shelves, his fingers brushed against a hidden compartment in the wall. He pried it open, revealing a small, leather-bound journal. Aboud opened the journal, its pages yellowed with age. The handwriting was barely legible, but he could make out a few words: secrets, danger, and inheritance. He read on, his heart pounding. The journal seemed to hold the key to the mystery, but it also hinted at a danger he hadn't anticipated. Aboud glanced back at the unconscious intruder. Who was this man, and what did he want with the journal? The answers were within reach, but so was the danger. Determined to uncover the truth, Aboud steeled himself for whatever lay ahead. The shadows and whispers of the old house held many secrets, and he was ready to face them all.
He dragged the unconscious figure to the cellar. The air was thick with the smell of damp earth and something else: fear. He secured the intruder to a heavy wooden beam. There was a glint of recognition in the man's eye as he regained consciousness.
Who are you?
You won't get away with this.
Aboud knew he needed to find another way. He had to outsmart his captors. He had to think like a detective. Think like Aboud. He remembered Mrs. Willow's nervous glances, the way she hurried past a certain painting in the hallway. He raced back upstairs. He scrutinized the painting, a harmless landscape. Or was it? He pressed against the frame. Click. The wall behind the painting swung inward, a hidden passage, just as he suspected. The mansion was full of secrets. He just had to be brave enough to find them. He followed the passage. It was dark and dusty. Cobwebs brushed his face. He could hear his own heartbeat in his ears. Finally, he reached a door. He put his ear to the cold wood. Voices. He recognized one. The lawyer.
What?
He slowly opened the door. A small, dusty room. A single candle flickered on a table, illuminating the lawyer and another man.
The inheritance is a lie?
Aboud's blood ran cold. Section 8. The clock ticks on. He listened intently. The other man was a distant relative, greedy and ruthless. The lawyer had concocted the inheritance scheme to lure Aboud to the mansion, to his death.
He had to act quickly, warn Aboud, but it was too late. The other man heard a noise. He kicked open the door. Aboud lunged. A struggle. The candle went out. Darkness. Silence.
Section 9. The portrait's secret. Aboud awoke with a throbbing headache, tied to a chair. The lawyer and the other man stood before him, smirking.
You should have just stayed away, the lawyer sneered.
You're wrong, Aboud said. This inheritance, this house, it holds the truth.
He pointed to a portrait above the fireplace. A stern-looking man in a military uniform. He knew. He left clues.
Section 10. A race against time, the lawyer scoffed.
What are you talking about?
Aboud's eyes narrowed. The dates on his medals, the symbols on his uniform, they tell a story. Your story. The lawyer paled. He hadn't noticed. He'd been blinded by greed.
Aboud continued, his voice firm. The secrets of this house will be revealed. The truth will come out.
The lawyer lunged for Aboud, but it was too late. The other man grabbed him.
He's right, he hissed. We're finished.
Section 11. The revelation. This is where everything changes, where secrets are unveiled and truths come to light. The police arrived soon after, their sirens piercing the quiet night, casting blue and red lights across the grand facade of the mansion. Alerted by a vigilant neighbor who had seen the commotion from their window, the authorities were quick to respond. The lawyer and the other man were arrested, their faces a mix of defiance and resignation as they were led away in handcuffs. The truth about the inheritance, the attempted murder, it all came out in a dramatic confession. The web of lies unraveled before everyone's eyes.
Aboud stood on the steps of the mansion. The storm had passed. The sun was rising, casting a golden hue over the estate. He took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the night's events lift slightly. He had faced danger and emerged victorious. The battle was hard fought, but he had prevailed, proving his resilience and determination. The mansion was his now. This grand estate, with its sprawling gardens and majestic architecture, was a symbol of his triumph, but more importantly, he had a mystery to solve. The events of the night had only deepened his curiosity about the mansion's past. The mystery of the man in the portrait. His legacy. Who was he? And what secrets did he hold? Aboud knew that understanding this man was key to unlocking the mansion's secrets. The adventure was just beginning. With the dawn of a new day, Aboud felt a renewed sense of purpose. He was ready to delve into the mansion's history, to uncover the stories hidden within its walls. The journey ahead was uncertain, but he was prepared to face whatever came his way. The mansion, with all its grandeur and mystery, was now his to explore, and he was determined to uncover every secret it held.